Well, thank you all very much for being here today. I can't tell you what a pleasure it is to see everyone here and to think that y'all blew off this incredibly beautiful day outside to come in here and hear me speak for a little bit. But I appreciate it. And there's some very special people here that I'd like to introduce. One of them is the newest rookie mayor from Martinsville, Indiana. And I don't know where you're hiding. Shannon Cole, if you'll stand, please. Back in the back. Thank you for being here, Shannon. And along with Shannon, we have a very, very dear friend of mine, Mayor Joe McGinnis from Franklin, Indiana. Thank you, Joe. You know, it's always really neat to be the mayor now in this century when you can see the mayors coming together and working together. And we have a very close relationship, not only with these two, but with all the mayors in the surrounding counties. And it's really helped to make our entire region something great. So I really appreciate you both being here today. Besides that, I want to introduce some other elected officials that are here today with the members of the Greenwood City Council, the judge, and our clerk stand. I know they're all hiding around the room someplace. Thank you for being here. And also, besides them, there are a lot of appointed members of the city, if they're here. Our Board of Works is here. Any other boards that are here, if you would stand. I know some redevelopment commission members. Our board, thank you very much for being here. And then my employees. I have quite an absolutely wonderful staff. If you'll all stand and be recognized for... What a great group. And then I want to make a little shout out. I shouldn't do this, but I will. But to the guys in the back of the room, my IT department is back there in the back, and they worked very hard all year to get the city up and running. And today I walked in and it was like, who are you? They're all wearing new suits and ties and looking great. And thank you for what you do. And then lastly, I want to introduce my family, part of my family. Two of my sisters are here, Patty and Nancy. Thank you both for being here. Mom meant to be here, but she's under the weather, so she's missing this for the first time, and she called me today to say thanks. So thank you. With that, I want to get started with the state of the city, and just to tell you what a great, great city we live in. And your participation here today sends a very positive message across central Indiana that Greenwood is a city on the move. Citizens are engaged, organizations are engaged, and our business community is engaged. And together, Greenwood is a city of pride and progress. This is the 5th time that I've had the opportunity to come in front of you and present the State of the City address. And I want to thank Christian, especially you, Mike Combs, the entire Greater Greenwood Chamber of Commerce staff and the board for hosting this event. The Chamber's popularity is a testament to the encouragement of our local business community. No city prospers without the support and the active and committed business community. We take pride in the city's partnership with the Chamber, and we appreciate the encouragement and the support we continue to receive for our economic initiatives. And thank you, Christian. And I want to thank you, to all of you as well, for being here. It's been a pleasure and an honor to serve the citizens of Greenwood for the last 4 years. I've learned a great deal. And then, even though Greenwood has been home for most of my life, hardly a day passes without learning more about our amazing city, its wonderful history, and the extraordinary people who make Greenwood such a special place. During the past 4 years, we built a solid foundation for success and future growth. Our budgets are both transparent and balanced. When I was first elected more than 4 years ago, Greenwood was burning through its cash reserve. It's taken time and very careful planning, but I can now report that every city account has close to or above a 50% reserve. In 2016, thank you. In In 2016, we rolled out our first ever citizens budget, which condensing volumes of financial information into an easily digestible 4-page document that is accessible to anyone at any time. Citizens are already reviewing the budget and they're providing valuable feedback, and I encourage every one of you to go to the city's website and take a look for yourself. Our budgeting process and our financial disclosures are state-of-the-art, and I'm proud to announce that for a second year in a row, our finance department is being honored with a Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting from the Government Finance Officers Association. A very special shout out to Adam Stone, my controller, for an amazing job that he's doing. The city has an excellent credit rating, and we're able to borrow money and refinance existing debt at the lowest interest rates possible. The banks who buy our bonds have high confidence in our fiscal health and trust in our accounting. In fact, within the last year, the Standard & Poor's rating services increased Greenwood's credit rating by 2 notches to an A+ rating. We've taken steps to become more transparent in other areas as well. Greenwood is the first city in Indiana to use OpenGov, a software platform that is transforming how governments analyze, share, and compare financial data. It's a remarkable tool, and again, I urge all of you to go to our website and check it out. Our city was the third in the nation to begin using Common Point 360, which is a dynamic new platform also designed to provide real-time access and information pertaining to Greenwood's business attraction and growth efforts. We're replacing and improving infrastructure at a pace never seen before in Greenwood. We're improving our stormwater system. We're bettering our roadways, upgrading our sanitary sewer infrastructure. We're increasing points to major highways, and we're revitalizing buildings on Main Street with more than $1.2 million to create a more modern and a unified public-facing facade. Pundits, news sources, and businesses are taking notice. They recognize our stability and our commitment to both growth and improvement. In just the last month alone, we've read how Greenwood will snag the spotlight, how a new era is underway, and how our city continues to attract major retailers and new developments. And my favorite is a Renaissance mayor. I think they want me to be really old. The seeds that we planted are now producing fruit, and I continue to see an increase in the new business opportunities crossing my desk every day. Thank you. You know, in leading this great city, I wake up every day focused on 4 key areas: public safety, infrastructure, quality of life, and economic development. These are the 4 pillars for making and keeping Greenwood the best it can be. We can all take pride in the substantial progress made in these 4 areas. Continued progress in these 4 areas is very important to me also. It's important to you, it's important to your children, and it's important to future generations. What we do today in these 4 areas determines whether this city will continue to move forward or fall behind. What we do in these 4 areas determines whether we can build a strong identity and a strong sense of community, or we could lose out to other cities pursuing the same goals. Greenwood can compete, and Greenwood must compete. Our focus on these 4 areas gives us the competitive advantage. It's an advantage that each of us wants. It's an advantage that honors our past and assures a better future, a brighter, safer, and a more prosperous future for every citizen. Now let's look at each of these 4 pillars. First, there's public safety. When I first decided to run for mayor, it was clear that public safety would be my top priority. More than 4 years later, it remains at the top of my list. Using considerable resources, we've been able to make significant improvements in the city's public safety equipment. We've upgraded over half of the patrol units with the police department. We purchased 3 new fire engines and a new rescue vehicle. And we've had tremendous help in this area as well. Firefighters and police officers have written successful grant proposals bringing in more than $850,000. These grants have allowed the city to purchase everything from new air packs to new bulletproof vests. One of the investments I'm particularly excited about is for the signal preemption project that the city has received grant money to help fund. Once completed, all traffic signals in Greenwood will be equipped with technology that allows firefighters and police officers to preemptively activate traffic lights as they travel to an emergency situation. This allows public safety officers to arrive to a scene much quicker and will safeguard both the officers and the civilians at intersections throughout the city. You know, we're blessed to have men and women in both our police and fire departments that are willing every day to put their lives on the line. They serve and they protect, and they do so with professionalism, with skill, character, and honor. These men and women deserve the support and appreciation from this city. Last year, I directed my staff to create a balanced budget that would add new full-time police officers and firefighters to the city payroll. And after a lot of number crunching, some extremely long afternoons for Adam, and some very difficult trade-offs, we were able to add 3 full-time police officers and 3 full-time firefighters in our 2016 budget. However, the city is still significantly below the national average and for recommended ratios of police and firefighters for our population. And I promise to you that the city will pursue every reasonable avenue to secure funding sources for new public safety staff during my second term. We'll keep pushing for the ability to determine our own fate on the food and beverage taxes. We'll research and apply for more grants to help offset our budgets. And we will continue to constantly make our operations more efficient through training, investments, and partnerships. The second area I want to discuss is the infrastructure. Reliable utilities, safe roads, safe places to walk, ride your bike, or push a stroller. In order for our residents and our visitors to enjoy all of the public and private amenities that the city has to offer, we have to make sure that safe access is provided for all means of transportation. We now realize that for a modern city to thrive, connectivity and safe routes must be created. We've already made some improvements to meet this goal. New trails have been created in Freedom Park, on Worstville Road, and on Fry Road. And this year the city will complete the Play Pocket Trail in Craig Park, creating a green route from the Smith Valley Road pedestrian bridge to Fire Station 91 on Main Street. And I've also charged my staff to make plans and investments necessary to connect the city's network of parks in the Old Town Greenwood area. And by the end of my second term, I believe that families will be able to safely walk and bike between the Splash Park at City Center Park and the Gazebo Park at the Children's Garden Park. And while pedestrian and bicycle traffic is certainly important, the city's central transportation asset is its network of roads. The city currently maintains 210 miles of roadway. And to put that number in perspective, it's only 190 miles from Greenwood to Chicago. We have aggressively maintained and upgraded our roads over the last 4 years, and I plan to continue that pace going forward. And unlike last year, we won't be closing all the roads at the same time. Yeah, that didn't do me credit. You know, the city is also planning several road infrastructure projects to help ease traffic and expand the road network. The Redevelopment Commission has recently committed funds to help construct and design the next phases of Worstville Road. We're currently designing improvements to the corridor that will expand the 4-lane road both east and west from its original project. And at my instruction, the city engineering is also pursuing roundabout solutions to some of our most troublesome intersections. And by no means will Greenwood try to become the next Carmel who's trying to make a world record. But we will utilize the best and the most innovative designs for our intersections going forward. We can build the best system of roads in the state. But a system only continues to function if it's maintained. During snow events, Greenwood roads are the envy of central Indiana regions. During the spring, our staff quickly responds to online requests to fill potholes. And in the fall, we make sure that the leaves and limbs are cleared with the utmost urgency. In order to have some of the best service roads in the state, we have to keep investing in our equipment. Since 2012, my administration has actively sought to replace and upgrade our fleet of vehicles and equipment. The street department has been one of the major areas of focus. We've replaced more than half of our dump truck fleet, and during my second term, the goal is to replace the remaining dump trucks. City utilities are also an essential of the part of Greenwood's infrastructure base. During the transition in 2011, I quickly learned that our utility infrastructure had some serious deferred maintenance and replacement issues, which impaired the city's ability to comply with new regulations. The problem was especially critical with the sewer utility. Greenwood also had no dedicated stormwater management department to improve the drainage and the water quality issues throughout the city. And although it was not easy, my staff and the Common Council made significant strides in addressing these problems during the last few years. The Common Council stepped up to the challenge and not only passed sustainable rate increases for the sanitary utility, but they authorized the creation of the stormwater utility. The new rate structure and the new utility allowed the city to start tackling its deferred maintenance and investing to create plans to comply with more stringent environmental regulations. For example, last year the sanitation department was able to replace a pipe on Pearl Street that was originally installed over a century ago. Currently, city staff is working on a program that will provide more than $2.5 million a year for pipe relining and sealing in both 2016 and 2017. The sanitary sewer utility is also working on its biggest project since the completion of the Eastern Interceptor over a decade ago, a new Western Regional Interceptor. This new interceptor will not only aid the western part of the district, but it will ease capacity issues throughout our entire system. And nearing its 4th birthday, the stormwater utility is proving to be an enormous asset to the city ratepayers. We've identified and mapped out more than $50 million in stormwater assets. And until the utility was created, there was no dedicated funding source to maintain this extremely valuable system. Last summer, our workers began the ambitious task of cleaning out the storm drains that in most cases had never been cleaned. Each time the workers remove a lost basketball, a forgotten Coke can, or a pound of gravel from the drains, we limit future flooding issues and we increase the life of our pipes and we improve the quality of our water. The Stormwater Board has a number of exciting projects in the works. A new rain garden is planned for the Greenwood Library, and an innovative 2-stage ditch is in the design stage for a low piece of land next to the cobblestone development. Our third area is quality of life. Amenities, community parks, an exceptional aquatic center, opportunities for members of the family. With the help of the Redevelopment Commission and the Park Board, Greenwood now has one of the best aquatic centers in the state. Freedom Springs is a perfect example of an unmet need for high-quality amenities on the south side. In its first year, Freedom Springs exceeded all expectations. We beat internal revenue and attendance goals, and we even managed to put a little money back into the park fund. Sorry, buddy. I often ask my good friend Joe McGinnis if he would like to compare the size of our pools. But he denies it every time. I love you, Joe.
What's your season pass code?
It's in your speech. In an effort to further improve our parks and recreation system, the community center will soon receive its first major remodel in over 20 years. At least $2 million will be spent updating the facility. The remodel will not only address the long-standing problems with the HVAC systems and the outdated bathrooms, but more importantly, it'll completely repurpose the facility. The fitness zones will be re-imaged and moved from the second story to the first. Modern free weights will be added to the extensive cardiovascular machines that the facility already has. Longer hours will allow our patrons many more opportunities to schedule their workouts around their busy lifestyles. And while these are great changes, I know that Krista is most excited about what will happen in the west wing of the facility. I think she works at the White House. With the west wing, this will feature a new indoor play zone for children, and it will replace office space and underused gathering spaces. This new space will provide all-season recreation activities for children and their families. Plans call for the installation of a multi-story climber that will allow children to safely climb 2 stories in the air. New built-in play features will promote imaginative play and experiences suited for various children of all age groups. Upstairs, the Kids Zone will feature more creative zones and activity centers that incorporate educational themes like STEM and music. And with the addition of a modern community center, Greenwood Parks and Recreation will be one of the most comprehensive and diverse systems in the state. So we have a state-of-the-art aquatic center. Greenwood possesses the only splash pad in Johnson County and one that has one of few splash pads that can be incorporated in an accessible all-season playground. Our amphitheater, our amphitheater features free concerts all summer long and has the added benefit of partnering with our local winery and brewers. We have a hidden gem in our community garden where residents can rent affordable plots to grow produce and flowers. And the Northwest Park has skate and rollerblade parks. University Park has a wooded dog park with agility features. Freedom Park has a large sledding hill that can accommodate scores of families. And our downtown is experiencing significant revival with success stories like the Reverie, La Trattoria, Winchester Place, Coffee House 5, Take Root, and Vino Villa are just some to speak of. And thanks to our many community partners, we have a wonderful lineup of festivals and events: Freedom Fest, Wham Fest, Halloween, Easter, and Christmas parties. And we plan to expand our offerings in 2016. We add our park shelters, 4 play pockets, including a brand new firefighting themed playground at Station 91, an art trail, and over a dozen shelters. And I'm confident that our park system ranks among the very best for a city of Greenwood's size. Now finally, our economic pillar is economic development. Our city must continue to promote economic development within our city and our region. It's critical that Greenwood foster a climate that allows businesses to invest, to grow, and to expand. The most important, most successful, and unfortunately the most misunderstood tool that the city has is to promote development are the TIF districts and our redevelopment commission. Greenwood is blessed to have an extremely qualified and talented redevelopment commission members. And I want to thank Brent Tilson, Mike Tapp, Brian Harris, Don Cummings, and Mike Campbell, who work tirelessly to take the necessary steps to attract high-quality jobs and expand our tax base for the city, benefiting every citizen. Each of our major TIF districts are important to Greenwood's growth. Without the Fry Road allocation area, the city would have no funding source to make the infrastructure improvements next to our largest taxpayer, the Simon Property Group. The Fry Road TIF covers the area around the Greenwood Park Mall, and it's actively investing to ensure that the mall and the other retailers are provided with quality infrastructure and to promote reinvestment. This includes reconstructing an aging lift station that provides sanitary sewer service to that area. An upgraded Fry Road, including funding for a recent multi-use trail extension that's beside the road. And this year, the Fry Road TIF is committed to funding improvements at the intersection with State Road 135, including a new turn lane to cut down on the wait times. Longer term, we hope to utilize funds to make improvements to the overgrown ditch behind the mall and to increase pedestrian and vehicular access to that very large district. And speaking of 135, the new State Road 135 TIF will help the southwest side of Greenwood to become a prime example of high quality development. And I commend the Common Council for their decision to create an overlay district to ensure proper development of the State Road 135 corridor. But the overlay is just one step in ensuring the area's success. Converting agricultural area to high-end commercial and residential takes both time and capital. Honey Creek Road, Stones Crossing Road, Cutsinger Road, and Smoky Row Road are just some of the many roads which will need to be rebuilt in order for growth to flourish. We need to acquire parkland and provide new residents places to play with their children and experience the outdoors. We need multi-use trails so citizens can walk and ride their bikes from neighborhoods to commercial districts and city parks. Sewers and stormwater systems have to be expanded to meet the needs of the growing business in the neighborhoods. Without the TIF, there's no way this city could fund these upgrades. The East Side TIF has been a true difference maker for the city, for Johnson County, and for the greater Greenwood region. Since its inception, the TIF has helped create more than $300 million in assessed valuation and the creation of hundreds, if not thousands, of jobs. National Trade Supply is one of Inc. magazine's 500 fastest growing companies, and it's located on the infrastructure paid for by TIF dollars. The company ships water and HVAC filters across the United States. Mays Chemical, Nestle Water, Pointer Sheet Metal, Ortho Indy, and Ultra Distribution all depend on the Eastside TIF infrastructure every day. Worsville Road, Graham Road, Fire Station 94, and Fire Engine 94, and Freedom Springs do not exist without the Eastside TIF. And because of these successes, it's imperative that the Common Council vote in favor of a new Worsville Road TIF district when it's introduced later this year. Without the Worsville Road TIF, the city will have no funding source to ensure that area has the proper infrastructure and amenities needed to drive economic development. The Eastside TIF has also been utilized to jumpstart one of the city's most underappreciated assets, the Greenwood Airport. We've built a new hangar. The taxiway has been completely refinished, and we've constructed new airport fence and a sign at the airport's entrance, which unfortunately we had to remove the much-loved styrofoam cups that we used in the fence to make signs. These upgrades have all resulted in increased jet traffic. God, I want that so bad. And we look forward to announcing even more initiatives in the coming weeks. And then there's the city's downtown. Discussing economic development can't take place without addressing the city's core and its historical importance. When I took office, Old Town Greenwood was on the endangered species list. 4 years later, I can tell you that Old Town is not only stable, it is ready to grow. Moving our offices to City Center is one of the decisions that I am most proud of since taking office. As we remodeled the old NBG Tower and we redeveloped the pool park into the City Center Park, Old Town activists and investors knew they could invest their time and their dollars without fear of a wrecking ball. The cycle of investment in Old Town is just beginning. The new downtown TIF will provide the capital to upgrade the infrastructure, sidewalks, and public spaces that the downtown needs to thrive. The facade grant program will drastically improve the look and the feel of more than 20 buildings at the Main and Madison area. And additionally, I'm directing staff to create a second facade upgrade program that will continue to partner with private owners of the key buildings long after the original facades have been completed. Pride and progress. There's a lot here to be proud of. There's a lot of progress that has been made, and there's a lot more to be done. Together, we can make Greenwood the best place to live, to work, and to raise a family. An authentic place, a safe place, a place rooted in the past, but we are looking towards our future. Ladies and gentlemen, it's year 5. Let's get to work. Thank you.